If you need any Xbox or PlayStation codes or any cheap PC games, use the referral link in the description. It will take you over to g2a.com. They already have a discount on most of their goods, and if you use the code CHES at checkout, you can get yourself an extra 3% off as well. Hey guys, how's it going? CHES back again, and welcome to episode number 30 of the Wolfsburg career mode here on FIFA 16. As you can see, we start with some training. Our young backup goalkeeper is growing quite nicely continually every single week, so it won't be long before he's into the low 70s and a very capable rotation goalkeeper. But we mentioned in the previous episode that we were looking to buy someone in the holding midfield role, or it's not necessarily a holding role, it's just a central midfield role. Obviously, we already have Luis Gustavo to play that out-and-out defensive role, so we're looking for either someone else of that similar style of play to go alongside Luis Gustavo, or kind of a deep-lying playmaker, which is why players like Javier Pastore and Granit Xhaka are on this list as well, because they're very, very good when it comes to the passing of the football. But as you've seen, we've offered for William Carvalho already. We're putting an offer there for Grzegorz Krychowiak, and we're offering here for Javier Pastore as well. And also for, I think I'm waiting for scout reports at this stage for Kevin Strootman and Granit Xhaka as well. So there's a number of players we're looking at. I have to say that my favourite or preferred option of those is Javier Pastore, because he's so good on the ball. His all-round game suits FIFA 16 as a whole, so he's my favourite. But obviously William Carvalho is a fantastic young talent that would do a wonder for us in that CDM role, and Krychowiak we've used on stream at Atletico, so we already know that he is a world-class holding midfielder, and he scores the odd great long shot as well from time to time, so I would be keen on bringing him in as well. But we're putting in counter offers for a couple of the players as the initial bids were rejected, also offering some contracts here and there as well, rejecting the odd offer for Maximilian Arnold and Nabil Fekir. We've already rejected the Nabil Fekir one, and we're rejecting that one as well. Putting an offer in now for Granit Xhaka, as the scout report has come back on him, so I know exactly what sort of fee to pay for him. And as you can see, sending out a couple of the youngsters out on loan as well. We've had the offer of £31 million accepted for Javier Pastore, so we're offering him a contract, £160,000 a week plus a crucial first-team player role. And as you can see, William Carvalho rejected the initial contract offer of important first-team player. I think I offered him 90 grand a week. So this time I'm offering him £110,000 a week, which is exactly what he was asking for. Just trying to save a little bit of money here and there wherever I can. You never know when that sort of extra funds might come in handy later on in the season. But our second game of the Bundesliga season to date is against Borussia Dortmund away from home. Obviously, we played Bayern Mönchengladbach in the previous episode for the first game of the season, and came away with a 1-0 defeat. So we wanted to do much better here against Dortmund, although obviously Dortmund are a step up in opposition from Mönchengladbach, and Mönchengladbach aren't exactly pushovers themselves. But Andre Schürrle, Julian Draxler and Sofiane Feghouli sit behind Alvaro Morata up top, with Tolisso currently alongside Luis Gustavo, although obviously we're looking to bring in someone to start ahead of Tolisso in that particular role. Morata finds Andre Schürrle here 25 minutes in or so. Schürrle with a great shot, but it's well blocked by Eric Durm, and then very, very effective defensive or efficient defending from the centre-back, I think it was Hummels actually, that just knocked it back to his goalkeeper, which obviously meant that he could pick it up, and it wasn't a pass back. But Ricardo Rodriguez cuts inside really nicely here. We are dominating this opening first half, cuts in all the way towards the penalty spot, in the end gets outnumbered by defenders. We get it to Luis Gustavo, and again Eric Durm is there with the block. We're not having much luck when it comes to shots in this first half. We were having plenty of chances though, and Feghouli into Draxler here. Fegouli's got space to run into down the right hand side, gonna whip in a ball eventually towards the back post. Morata goes up, but Weidenfeller gets there first and he's able to punch it clear. Still trying to find my range with crosses with Feghouli. Obviously he's a new signing, so I'm not 100% confident with how much power to put on and what direction to go with when it comes to his particular crossing ability. But cut inside this time, cross it again, and Draxler is so close to getting in that header on target. Unfortunately, he just couldn't quite reach it, and it grazed his forehead as it went past the defenders. But they're messing about with it at the back here, Borussia Dortmund, and then Piszczek gives it straight to Morata. Eventually gets it under control. His shot is on target, but Weidenfeller makes a great save to palm it away, and we still can't get ourselves in front. So obviously, 10 minutes from time, Dortmund have their first chance and they score it. Marco Reus with a wonderful free kick in off the bar with 10 minutes to go. We're 1-0 down. Completely undeserved, but that's just the way things go, unfortunately. It's kind of a carbon copy, but the other way around of the Juventus game in the semi-final of the pre-season tournament. Obviously, they dominated us, and then we went and scored goals at the other end towards the end of the game to win that tie for ourselves. Nuri Sahin here, really weird technique, takes the ball forward, then drags it back, stops the ball dead, and then rifles in an absolute rocket from the edge of the box to make it 2-0 to Dortmund 5 minutes from time. You can quite well imagine I was distraught at this moment, having had so many chances already in the game, and then found myself 2-0 down and eventually 3-0 down. The complete opposite of what should have happened in this game. Dortmund get a 3-0 victory. That was in the 4th minute of 2 added on as well, which doesn't help. But we annihilated Dortmund for the entire game. And then the last 10 minutes, after that first goal went in, there was nothing I could do about the remaining 2. It felt that momentum was very much in their favour, so we ended up losing heavily, which we just didn't deserve. But never mind, take it on the chin, we'll move forward and we'll try and do better in the next game. Hopefully we'll have a new player in the starting lineup for the next game as well, offering Grzegorz Krychowiak a contract there, as you saw. And Mönchengladbach rejected the offer for Xhaka. They want 34.5 million. Be honest, I'm not willing to pay that much money for someone that's rated in the early 80s, like 82, 83. So I'm hopefully going to get either Carvalho, Krychowiak, or Javier Pastore. We're putting in offers for all of them here contract-wise, and we'll see what happens. Paul Seguin is going to go out on loan to Ingolstadt for the entire season, and again, continuing to try and work out an offer for Krychowiak. Obviously, he wants crucial first-team player, not important first-team player, so that's what we're offering him here, and as you can see, all 3 have accepted the contract. So, I have a decision to make. William Carvalho, Grzegorz Krychowiak or Javier Pastore. Now, I mentioned that Pastore was my favourite of the options that we had, so I am going to go with the Argentine from Atleti, not PSG. He moved from PSG to Atleti last year in the first season, and now we've picked him up from Atleti to bring him to Wolfsburg. So we have a nice balance in those 2 central midfield roles. We've got the out-and-out defensive Luis Gustavo, who will sit holding, and then we've got the creative deep-lying playmaker in Javier Pastore. And it kind of works similar to how we've got at Chelsea, with Matic holding and then Cesc Fabregas alongside him. So I'm quite keen to see how Pastore gets on. Actually, it's a big signing, £31 million. It's the biggest signing we've made so far at Wolfsburg. We paid £31 million for him, and we also paid £20 million plus Max Kruse for Morata. So I guess technically, considering Kruse was valued at 13, that was the bigger deal, with £33 million worth of total value going towards that deal. So we've spent a lot of money so far this window on 2 players, hoping that they can eventually have an impact on the first team. Morata hasn't necessarily hit the ground running, but to be fair, the team performance hasn't been all there just yet. But we dominated against Dortmund and somehow came away with a 3-0 defeat. Hopefully we can dominate against Hertha Berlin and come away with a 3-0 win this time around. Ricardo Rodriguez whips the cross in. Langkamp gets his touchdown. Tell me how that isn't a pass back. His first touch is terrible, and then he's toe poked it, passed it back to his goalkeeper, and then the keeper picks it up, Thomas Kraft, and runs off with it. Pretty sure that's a pass back, but never mind. Alvaro Morata lost the ball there, but just hounded the defenders to get it back, works it back inside to Schürrle, whose shot is blocked, unfortunately, by the defender. That's something we've noticed in the entirety of this episode to this point, and I recorded this episode after I streamed on Monday night, where also experiencing with career mode a lot of blocked shots. And I mentioned on Twitter, I'm not sure whether they've altered the career mode gameplay at all with a patch that hasn't necessarily been announced or whatever, because sometimes they just tweak the gameplay, or at least it feels like they tweak the gameplay without releasing an official patch. But wonderful way for us to go in front through Andre Schürrle on the half hour. That is our first goal of the competitive season. Obviously a 1-0 defeat to Mönchengladbach, and then a scoreless attempt against Borussia Dortmund earlier on today. It means that this is our first goal in 3 games in the Bundesliga, but what a goal it was. Potentially, if that's the game winner, worth waiting for. A wonderful strike from Andre Schürrle. That corner technique has worked for us numerous times now this season here at Wolfsburg, or this FIFA year, shall I say, because obviously we're only at the beginning of Season 2 and we used it quite a bit in Season 1. So pleased that actually went in my favour, and we have a wonderful way to go 1-0 in front. How is that for a ball over the top from Javier Pastore? You mentioned deep-lying playmaker. Keeper comes out unnecessarily there, but Schürrle can't get the cross in. I was really, really disappointed that I thought about shooting, but I was, not confident that I could have gotten it in from there. And then we push into the second half, 10 minutes into the second half. How this is squeezed in the near post, I have no idea. Again, alongside the observation that there seem to be a lot of blocked shots in my favour favour right now. I seem to be conceding a lot of near post goals. The goalkeepers seem to just be collapsing at the near post and just letting the ball fly past them, which again in itself is extremely frustrating. But we're working another opportunity here. Gabbiadini work it onto his left foot, and then he takes the shot with his right with a really weird body shape, trying to scoop it into the far corner. I was trying to rifle it with my left towards the near post, the same way that Ben Hatira had scored for Berlin, but unfortunately he decided to take it with his right foot and try and whip it to the far corner, which obviously didn't work. So we only get a 1-1 draw from that game, but at least we now have some points on the board. It's a slow start to the season, but I'm sure we will pick up from here. Big offer for Ricardo Rodriguez of 24 million from Roma, which we are turning down. As you can see, massive deals done this window. Özil from Arsenal to Bayern Munich for £45 million. £40.5 million for Boateng to Arsenal, going the other way. Really strange deal. And then Christian Eriksen goes to Manchester United as well for £37.5 million and a big money move from Spurs. So massive deals done this window, not only by ourselves but by everybody else. You can see St Etienne, Panathinaikos and Chelsea are our rivals or competitors in the Champions League group stage. So you'd say we're probably second favourites for the group to get out behind Chelsea. At present, we're 16th in the Bundesliga, but things aren't necessarily going to end that way, are they? FC Cologne are top of the table right now with Hoffenheim second, Bayern in third, Dortmund down in ninth, Leverkusen in eighth. It's definitely going to be all changed from here in the remaining 31 games of the season. So I'm not too worried about the fact that we're down there in 16th. Things will definitely change, and we will obviously find the best way to play with new signings like Feghouli, Emirata and Javier Pastore. Pastore actually ran things in that Hertha Berlin game. I was very impressed. So he's definitely made a positive impact immediately, and we're just waiting for Morata to get his first goal, and then I'm sure there'll be plenty more after that to come. But that's going to bring today's episode to a close. Thank you very much for watching, guys. Drop the video a like if you enjoyed, of course, and subscribe if you haven't already. All my social media links are on screen and in the description down below. I won't be streaming tonight because I'm off out to the cinema, but I'll be streaming again tomorrow, and obviously there's plenty of YouTube content for you guys to catch up on if you've missed anything as well. But for now, I'll see you next time.